you've heard of the concept of the big T trauma and the little T trauma. But basically big T trauma is, like big stuff, like, being in a war or like,
abuse, sexual abuse.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Whereas little T trauma might be like, your parents weren't able to provide you the support emotionally, and that would be classed as a little T trauma, which is what I experienced in childhood. So my stuff was little T stuff, but an accumulation of little T stuff over my whole childhood and then into my adulthood too. So when you think about an accumulation of all of those small things, and the impact that has on us as a human being, it's like, it's not to be discredited. A lot of people that I've spoken to will think, oh, well, I wasn't abused or whatever, so I don't have the right, to feel like this. And it's like, yeah, it's being able to connect to, you don't have to compare with other people and their trauma.
No,
it affects different people different ways. Some people might have been abused and then just be able to do the therapy or whatever it is and move on from it, whereas other people get stuck in it. It's it's non-discriminative. Mental health issues are non-discriminative. They just sort of present differently for different people.
Yeah, that's right. So mine's probably also a small T, but that also left a big, I don't know if you can call scars in my heart, maybe. And then that's why I was very guarded. So put a wall up and I wouldn't tell you things. But then once I get awareness, once I shine the light on it, and then I can say, that's okay. I can talk openly about it. It's really, mine's not that bad anyway. It's more, again, probably similar to yours, not feeling not supported emotionally, because, in the old days, and people didn't have those awareness, and then they were busy with some people didn't even have enough to feed their family, and that's just part of it. And obviously emotional, it's kind of put it to the last, and it's only these days, and we being more well off, and then everything is taken care of, and then now we can look at it. Oh yeah, how are you feeling?
And I think people like you and I too have learned, watched our grandparents and our parents, and we've seen, what the repercussions are for, they've perhaps worked really hard and they've focused on those things, and like you said, left the emotional stuff till last, which I know has definitely happened in my family. And then it's not till later life that they have time to reflect and then think, oh, I probably should have done something about that 20 years ago, whereas we see that in our 30s, 40s, 50s and think, I don't want to get to my 70s or 80s and not have dealt with this stuff. And I don't want to pass it on to my children either, So and I think it's way more socially acceptable now to, be able to reach out to, like you said. So I think we're fortunate in that way, that we've learned what to do and what sort of is helpful. And I think that's why people are probably a bit more open to sharing and holding space for each other, because we recognize like how beneficial it is, not just as individuals, but collectively, how important that is, that we heal and don't repeat the same patterns.
Exactly. And I often tell my kids, or not even telling them, but just, share with moms, and how fortunate this generation is. And then people like you and I, and we work on ourselves, and then so that we become more aware, and then they obviously benefit from what we're doing for ourselves and also for them.
Let your light shine. Help others find their way out of the darkness. Extraordinarily inspiring stories from ordinary people like you and I. I believe we are all extraordinary, yet we're all ordinary. Let your light shine.